Hello everyone, I greet you in the name of God Almighty. My name is Apostle Nathan Silas and today we have a very interesting video to react to, and this one says that dog refused to leave the church. Then the priest checked the camera and see something crazy. Okay, when we get onto the video, we're gonna know what the priest saw when he checked the camera when the dog refused to leave the church. So if today happens to be the first time of you checking out my channel, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and follow me on my Facebook and Instagram. And if you have any video you want me to react to, don't forget to drop it at the comment section and I'm going to check it out. So guys, before we get on to the video, I'm a theologian and I make this video not to discredit anyone's religion. This is basically for educational purposes, and I believe that at the end of this video we all are going to learn from it. So guys, let's get on to the video and check this out.
There is nothing more loyal than a man's best friend. Dogs are pretty incredible. If you didn't believe that before, today's story will surely convince you. Why does this dog attend Mass every single day? For a very surprising and absolutely heartbreaking reason. In a small town near the city of Brindisi, Italy, there is a little church where they hold Mass every day. This isn't strange in itself. There are many little towns in Italy where Mass is held daily and they are still supported by large groups. But what you don't often see is a dog coming to daily Mass, or just sitting quietly while the service is held, until he leaves again just as quietly as soon as the door opens after service. And yet, this is what has been happening in the small town of San Donasi. The German Shepherd had become a fixture for months by coming to church each day. His behavior was very strange. Usually, the only time you would see an animal at these types of events is when they are service dogs. But this dog was coming in on its own and looking really sad each time he did it. According to the priest at this church, Donata Pana, the rest of the congregation doesn't mind the dog coming inside since he's so quiet and respectful, but they were starting to wonder what it is that he sees. He just sits in front of the altar staring at the same spot. Some of the people around him have even started to freak out slightly, thinking that he could possibly see the dead. But for Pana, who is a big dog lover and who recently lost his own pup, it was clear that this dog was just very sad. He looked incredibly familiar, but Pana just couldn't place him. It was clear that the dog had no home. He was really dirty and slightly thin. Could he just be coming for a safe place to sleep and some shelter? Was he really asking for help? The priest couldn't shake the feeling that the pup needed some help. He might have been looking shaggy, but he was sweet. The first step would be to get the boy cleaned up a little bit. After Mass one day, the priest asked for some teenagers to help out. When the dog was getting ready to leave, they gave him a few treats and then they gave him a bath. They were a little bit nervous to do this. You never know how a dog would react to water, but this sweet boy just allowed them to wash and dry him and even seemed to enjoy the attention. After his bath, the priest and the children gave him some food. He was a little on the thin side, but now more than ever, Pana was sure that he had seen this dog before. He just couldn't place his finger on where that was. He set the mystery aside for the moment in favor of taking care of the pup. They needed to make sure that he was healthy. He might be asking them for help, and they hadn't noticed that he was in pain. So he decided to take the sweet German Shepherd to the vet in town. They put him on a leash, and surprisingly, the dog didn't seem to care. Obediently, he walked next to the priest all the way to the vet. There, the vet gave him a complete check, but he was completely healthy. They tried to find signs of his owner, but sadly, he didn't have a microchip. It was another dead end. At least they had made sure he was cared for. But would they ever know why this dog was coming to Mass, or where he lived before becoming a regular visitor to the church? Disappointed and feeling slightly defeated, the priest walked with the dog back to the church. As they were passing some shops, a little boy came out and started to pet the dog. He even hugged him and called him Tommy. Surprised, Pana asked the boy why he called the dog by this name, and slightly confused, the child explained that he called it that because it was his name. He had known the dog for years. They all had. This was Tommy, the rescue dog of one of the older ladies that lived in the area, Maria Loci. Finally, the priest remembered where he had seen the dog before. He was always walking around with his owner. He was slightly thinner now, and when he first came to the church, he was very dirty, but now it was clearly Maria's beloved Tommy. Maria was a kind lady who loved rescuing animals. She had a few rescue dogs in her time, but had a very special bond with Tommy. She found him in the fields close to her home when he was just a puppy. He was very sick at the time, and people had just abandoned him. She had rescued him, nursed him back to health despite almost losing him a few times, and eventually he was a happy, healthy dog, and her companion wherever she went. If she went into town, he was right there by her side. He even went to church with her, but back then he would wait outside until she came to find him. So why would he be coming inside now? Why wasn't he with his best friend? The sad fact was that she had died a few months before. She had no family in the area, and it seemed her most beloved pet once again turned to life in the streets, except for the times that he would come to Mass each day. To ensure that no one was missing Tommy, Pana first went to the home where Maria had stayed. It was a little bit outside of town, and it was clearly empty. The grass was long, and the flower beds that Maria always took such good care of were overgrown with weeds. But Tommy got super excited as they got closer. He ran to a hole in the fence and went to lie down on a dog bed on the porch. It was clear that he thought of this place as home, even if there wasn't anyone to care for him anymore. When Pana wanted to leave, Tommy refused to join him. Knowing he would see the dog at Mass, as usual, the priest left him in peace to go and solve the mystery. The priest had a good idea of what was going on, but he needed to check something out. He went back to the church and made sure to put out some food and water, and even a blanket for Tommy if he did need it. Then he went to check the security cameras. He looked at some of the recent footage, and then he went back in time to footage a few months in the past. What he found out was completely crazy. First, he looked at the footage of Maria's funeral. He didn't notice at the time, but there was Tommy following the funeral procession into the church. He followed the casket slowly, knowing that this would be his final farewell to his favorite person. He went to lie down next to the casket and stayed there for the entire funeral service, on the exact spot that he would now lay down on each and every day. Taking the recording back even further, the priest saw Maria coming to Mass daily. She would tell Tommy to stay outside, and then she would go inside and sit down in her favorite spot. Tommy would watch from the door, making sure Maria was safe, and then, when she was settled, he would go to lie down outside. But that wasn't the remarkable thing. The spot that Tommy was always watching, it was the very same spot where Maria would normally sit. The good boy was coming back to the place where he said his last goodbye to his friend and watching the spot where she sat in hopes that she would one day appear there. That is so incredible, but also so sad. He lost the person that meant the world to him, but his deep love and loyalty touched the heart of everyone in town, and they all made sure that Tommy would never be completely alone again. Everyone, from the children to the business owners like the butcher, has adopted Tommy as the town dog. They feed him when he is around, make sure that he has a place to sleep, and everyone makes sure that he gets all the love and attention they can give him. Tommy might not have the person that he really wants with him, but at least this community has made sure that he won't ever be alone again, just like Maria would have wanted. Do you think your dog would miss you this much if you were gone? Please let us know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below, and thanks for joining us for this video. Please join us again for even more heartwarming stories.
Whoa, that's a very interesting video, learning about this dog, some of the things that transpired, of course, how the priest was able to wait patiently, of course, and was able to see something strange, concerning the dog. Little did the priest knew that the dog belongs to Maria, not until the teenage we came to the church, or shall I say came to the Mass, and then therefore saw the dog and called it Tommy. Then from there they were able to trace back, and then we were able to know where the dog come from. Of course, we could see the connection the dog have, with Maria, and because of how Maria to take the dog to the place of worship, make the dog to be able to remember the church. And that's why when the priest even find out from the camera footage, they were able to see that the dog was even there, even the day that Maria died, and then therefore they were trying to they were preparing the funeral service for Maria. The dog was always there, and then therefore tends to stay in the spot that Maria used to stay. If you understand, you look at it in a sense critically, and then even though I know that it's not everyone that like pet, it's not everyone that like dog, and to the Muslim precisely, they don't even like dog, and therefore they are not even supposed to keep dog, you understand, in the first place. But for the Christians, some of them use dog as pet and all those things, like, yeah. But it's just like, I think for the Muslim, of course, they have the belief system in a sense differs with that of Christianity, and that's why in a sense they do not like dogs. They feels like by doing so, like it can attract, you understand, some kind of evil things, you understand, to you and all that. Well, for the Christians, of course, they do not see it in that perspective. They just feels like it's just a pet, and people like to have it in their homes and all that. Even though dog can be kept, you understand, for different, you understand, reasons. Some could be because of security and all that, whereas some is just for pet. But then when you look at it, you got to realize that the dogs actually what they have emotions and all that. I really felt, you understand, for it, the connection the dog actually have with the owner and all that. Well, maybe probably one day I may have a pet, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But then it was a very interesting video. So guys, this is the end of my video. If you like my reaction, you should like, share and subscribe. And if you have any video you want me to react to, don't forget to drop it at the comment section, and I'm going to check it out. So guys, you remain blessed, and I see you in my next video. Bye bye.